My name is Jackie Clayton. I am the editor of Recruiting Tools. And as you see, I have Brian Fink with me. If this is your first time coming to Recruiting Live and you see that there are no slides, there's not that official format or anything like that, that's because here with Recruiting Live, we just want to get to know recruiters and give you the opportunity to ask some real questions and get down to what's really important for recruiters, you know, and we just kind of touched on that. There's a lot of people who give us the information that we think that they think we need. It doesn't always align with what we actually need to know to actually get our job done. And in any case, you've seen Brian online. He works for Rellis Technologies and has been prominent on the space and been really huge helping people learn how to recruit better. I got the pleasure of meeting him at HRTX in Atlanta this year. And with that being said, Brian, do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about yourself?
My name is Brian. I'm a cancer. This morning, Animal and Steve Levy have renamed me the Finkelstein because I'm the recruiting monster. You know, if it happens on Twitter and Animal says it, then it must be true. I've been recruiting for 10 plus years. I started recruiting salespeople. That was like my first gig. And then, you know, I put on my big boy pants and I became a tech recruiter. I've built 4 recruiting organizations in the past like 12 years, both the agency side, and internal. So I think I've done it all, but I'm still trying to find new stuff to do. That's kind of what drives me every day, to kind of find the way to build a better mousetrap and have a little bit more fun. And my hobbies include embarrassing my 2 grown sisters. If you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, you know that I have a daughter who I am totally smitten with, and I don't know that she's watching today. I don't think they show this at daycare. I don't know. I don't know what they're teaching her. I have no clue. I mean, I'm disappointed because her first word is mama mama, and she says it like that, mama mama, and I really think it should be daddy. And I feel like I'm about to go into a Chris Rock riff because, you know, from his 1997 special, Bigger and Blacker, he's talking about it's always mama, 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 mama this, mama that. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Papa gets no respect. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to have to hold out for the big piece of chicken, right? So that's me in a nutshell. I think I probably spend maybe 12 hours a week working with recruiters outside of our team at Rellis to help them find who they're looking for and how they're looking for it. That's it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I love the University of Georgia. We're going all the way in the NCAA March Madness tournament.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck. We're in the training wheels tournament.
There you go. Well, you know, you brought up something that was interesting. You were talking about building a better mousetrap, and I know you said you went on and got your big boy pants on. Here's the real question. Like, what do you wish you knew then based on what you know now about recruiting 10 years later? What would you tell little baby Brian Fink recruiter that they needed to do? Remember?
It's really actually kind of funny because Matt Charney made a joke about this on Twitter yesterday. I would give him the same advice that a guy named Michael Whaley, who I pulled in to work with me here at Rellis, Michael and I met the first day, my boss didn't show up. And Michael said, you know, what's really important is for you to down a Mountain Dew, eat a Snickers bar, make as many phone calls as possible, and listen to as many people as you possibly can. He didn't say talk to or speak out. He said listen to. And I was like, dude, all I know about salespeople is that we got quota and we got to make it. And he's like, fine, then ask about that. And I would say that the only other bit of advice that I would give is that if you're confused, that you ask somebody to explain what the hell it is that they're talking about. But I would give that, hands down, I'd give that to Michael. I'd still give that same advice to little baby Brian Fink. Mountain Dew, Snickers bar, get on the phone. If Maureen's listening, you know, I'm a big advocate of technology, but I'm also a big advocate of getting on the phone. I think that I think this thing is the most lethal application that you can use for recruiting. Right here on your iPhone, there's a button. It makes phone calls. I think that's pretty lethal. I'd also say don't ever be afraid to do something. Like I talk about texting my candidates all the time. Like text people. You know, if you're gonna, millennials don't like to pick up the phone. Fine. I don't think I could have told me 10 years ago that, but yeah, and I would also say that if you're gonna make a phone call, if you say you're gonna make 25 phone calls, make 25 phone calls, and then make one more, and always do just one more. If you always are willing to do one more, you will be astonished by what it is that will come out on the other side.
Well, let me ask you, because the phone, and we talk about the phone, and yes, I'm a big proponent of the phone. At the same time, you know, the most important thing is listening. Do you think recruiters talk too much? I mean, I just feel like, you think people talk instead of listen? Like what?
Jackie, I'm going to go back to HRTX because I think that, you know, it was unsolicited the first time that I said anything about HRTX on like a weekly Facebook video. So it's just like HRTX, I sat down with people who actually do the work. I think there are a lot of people that are out there that they have very interesting tidbits to put in the conversation and they suck the oxygen out of the room and they're too busy talking to learn what needs to be done next or to actually give you a use case. Like I'm gonna point at Matt again. You know, Matt Charney, one of the things about Matt is that if you say that you do something, Matt wants to see you do it. And if you can't do it, you're gonna get snarked on. If you can do it, Matt's gonna be like, holy shit, blew my mind. He's gonna be the first person to say that. And I think there are a lot of people that are out there that they talk about all the things that they're doing. And I don't think that one, they're doing it. I don't think that two, they're beta testing it. I know I'm being the angry recruiter. Roddy Bratcher says I'm angry all the time. I mean, here's the thing: is that like I just don't think that I don't think they're doing it right. And like I think that, you know, one of the joys of I call Steve Levy my big brother. I don't know if he accepts me as a member of the kindred tribe of non-tattooed sorcerers. But like, you know, when I'm talking to Steve, Steve's always like, well, here's what you could do, and let me show you. Like, Steve, if you're watching, you're listening, I think you're probably on OMC Chat, which he runs on Twitter on Fridays, is that, man, I was like, dude, I gotta find all these Apache Spark people, and I'm like, man, you know, and I'm kind of like banging my head about it. I'm like, what the hell did I get into that this is going to be the thing I'm going to recruit for? And Steve goes, I got it. And I got to tell you that most of the time when people say, I got it, it scares the hell out of me. Because I don't think they got shit, all right? My middle name is Thomas. Call me a doubting Thomas, all right? The reality of it is Steve like goes through and he's like, let's go through Apache.org and let's look at who's really contributing to the code set. Let's see who's making standards for Apache Spark and who they're following. And maybe that's who we should be talking to instead when we're trying to find these Apache Spark gurus.
See, and
yeah, I mean, Steve's in New York, and like he's sending me back screenshots, and Allie's watching this, like with the baby. Allie's my wife, Madeline's the baby, whatever. She's watching this, and you know, I'm like, holy shit, and like, you know, that's a conversation me and Steve are having. It's like when I talk to somebody about texting candidates, right? Like, here's a candidate that I texted last week, right? She's a Game of Thrones fan. So I said, hey, you should come work at this company because they really like Game of Thrones. She also has on her LinkedIn profile that she's a sourcing goddess and a Khaleesi. So I said, call me maybe, because a king is a call, right? And like, you know, she gets back to you, right? But like, don't be, you know, like be real, like have a real conversation with people and about recruiters. Like, again, I think there are a lot of people that are out there that are talking about all the shit that they're doing that like, it doesn't work. Like I paid $45 to hear you talk for 30 minutes and like, what?
Right.
And I also think that there are a lot of people who are out there who are making it more difficult to do what it is that they're doing. Like, can I mention HireTool?
You can mention HireTool.
I can mention HireTool. All right. Because Jackie told me I could not plug Bulgogi Barbecue Barberia on the call because they have nothing to do with HRTX. But if you're ever in Peachtree Corners, I recommend that you get the Bulgogi Bowl. Okay, all these people want to create these great strings to search Facebook, right? And Jess and I are going to bring this up. Dude, man, come on, dude. You made like an awesome tool for me to search Facebook and to find people who are in different groups and be able to talk with them, right? Why would I sit there and make a string all day and do this tiny little piece and this little piece? Why would I do that? Nin, you did the work for me. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Or Intelligent Source, right, which is a Chrome plugin. Why would I do that? And to that, like, you know, there are people who are very intelligent about what's going on in the community, and they're talking and they're sharing things. But then there are a lot of people who, come on, man, that they're talking in a circle like I am right now. They're spinning out of control, telling you something works and it doesn't.
Well, and they're not getting better.
No,
yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're not. I mean, like, I took a coffee yesterday with somebody who works for a large industrial manufacturer. He said, Brian, I couldn't find this one role. And I said, okay, man. So he said, can we grab coffee? I said, yeah. I sat down with him. Dude, shit, sitting down with this guy, I solved this problem. And then he was like, oh, you're using this, and you're a big Evernote guy. Have you ever tried this extension? Blew my mind. And I'm a huge Evernote guy. Like, and I was like, dude, you saved me even more time with my favorite tool. Thanks. And I would ultimately say that you give what you get. And I think there are a lot of people who are out there, not going to name names. It's not what we do, but I feel like there are a lot of people out there that are taking, and they're not giving anything back.
They're not giving back.
Or they're not giving back like shit that works.
Right.
I mean, that would be like me, you know. So or people who just fucking in a vacuum, right? Is that right now I'm part of a thread on LinkedIn about, it's got like 1,100 people who've all liked it. I wish LinkedIn would go back to the original LinkedIn. You don't want it to go back to the original LinkedIn. And you weren't working that hard to begin with. You were just fishing in the same pool. Shut up. Okay? And or you know, thank me when I do something like, or thank, you know, whatever. Thank Steve Rath. Steve Rath showed me how to build I'm name dropping Steve Rath, custom search engine, Steve Rath, look it up. Steve showed me how to build a search engine that to beat the system, man. I mean, that was, stop bitching, man. Start working. Stop whining. Like that's it. And now I'm whining. That's not cool. Hey guys, bulgogi. Bulgogi has really good bulgogi. It's great. I don't even know what that means in Korean.
It means meat in bull. But the thing is that, you know, when you're recruiting and we talk about it, I don't know what your training is, but I was always told, like, don't waste time on things that is not going to get a candidate in the chair. And a lot of times, I think recruiters do that. They just they're so into the search, trying to find the perfect tool instead of actually talking to candidates.
So my thought on that one real quick is, you know, Maslow and his hierarchy of needs, Maslow says that if you give some men a hammer, everything will look like a nail. Not everything's a nail. You're not going to find salespeople on GitHub, right? I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think that, and I'm going to walk this back because I just threw people under the bus about LinkedIn. Call me Spicer. Is that there are a lot of, you're not going to call me. All right. So there are a lot of ways to use LinkedIn, and for a lot of people, that is their sole go-to. That's all they know. They haven't stepped out of their box. But I think that a lot of times people I agree with you, they put way too much emphasis on the tool that they're using. You know, and
everybody uses LinkedIn, really. Do you think everybody uses LinkedIn because it really works and all the candidates are there? Or do you think people use it because somebody told them that it was the best place? Or somebody told them that that's where all the candidates are? I mean, seriously. Tell me how many, and I'm not trying to pull an animal, but tell me how many hires you made.
Pull an animal. Animal's good man.
I'm just
or something.
How many people have you hired directly from LinkedIn? And it's okay. My background, I can tell you probably, I don't know, 10, 15. How many people?
LinkedIn, I don't even know. Like LinkedIn, I have no clue. This is the way that I measure it. Is I'm like, does it get me 10 people? If it gets me 10 people, let's talk about it. Okay. Let's say that it had some ROI. if you're an agency recruiter and you place 10 people from LinkedIn, I'm going to hope that you generated at least $180,000 in fees. All right? LinkedIn, it's paid for, and you got $170,000 you can go spend on an Audi. That's awesome. You should go do that, right? GitHub. GitHub's awesome, man. I think that GitHub gives you quantitative intelligence on how somebody is performing as a developer because you can't go sit over their shoulder and watch it. I also think that when we talk about GitHub, we overlook whois.com and take that vanity URL and put it in whois.com to get their phone number so we can call this person.
People don't know how to freaking use GitHub. They don't.
Okay. Well, then guess what? I guess that after we talk about Facebook recruiting on Tuesday with two really awesome guys, one from this Blizzard company nobody's heard of and this other Amazon company that nobody's heard of. Maybe we'll tackle how to recruit on GitHub, because GitHub is a great source of information that, but it's real. It's real. It's not bullshit, right? Like if I put that I was at 50% of quota, I'm really beating up on salespeople. I was 50% of quota. I don't know who wants to brag about that, but if I put on my LinkedIn profile, that's generated by me. If I put on there that I know JavaScript and I got all these people dogging me out saying I don't know JavaScript, or I got a lot of people who are upvoting what I'm doing with AngularJS, yeah, I've been validated by my community. I like being friends with you. You validate me. Thank you.
I know I tore up that name. Said interestingly enough, not many people talk about AngelList and feeling that that's an awesome website to get to source candidates. Do you use AngelList?
I use AngelList, but I use AngelList, but I primarily use it for business development because AngelList is free. So there are startups that are there that I know that they've got some money or they have some equity, and yes, I will recruit for equity in your company. I use it for business development. I use it to find that. I use it to find the founders and say, saw you on AngelList. I mean, yeah, I think AngelList actually might be the future of LinkedIn.
Well, and you can post jobs there for free.
Absolutely. So, well, you can post jobs for free on Indeed, but I don't see anybody thinking that Indeed is the future of recruiting.
Why do you say that, sir? I read it. I read it on the internet, which means it's true.
Well, so I think that Indeed has got a really smart product. I think that it's curious if CareerBuilder gets bought or sold this week because they're trying to sell job ads, and Indeed has just decided that they're going to give it away. I don't think that posting jobs is the future of recruiting. I think the future of recruiting is asking the question, who do you know? Like on somebody's first day when they come into the office and you say you're a really gifted developer, or hey, Steve, who I love Steve, you're the best if you're watching. Steve, Steve is one of the best AWS engineers in the world. And I'm like, Steve, who do you hang out with, man? Like, who do you think we should get on our team? Steve keeps giving me people that we should get for our team here at Relias that we should be using to build our cloud services team, right? Is that recruiting? Is that an application? No, man. Is that a job description? Steve knows what the gap is in our organization. We need somebody who can come fix this. This guy over at Coca-Cola, he does that. The future of recruiting is not posting jobs. It isn't. It never will be. Okay? It is the question of asking who do you know or what do you want to do?
Well, how do we trust those people? I mean, we just talked about it. I mean, you've got people. I have a problem with self-disclosed experts, right? It's kind of like what you were saying. You got to go to GitHub over there to get all the stuff. So,
well, I'm not. First off, I'm not an expert. Obviously, I'm wearing my hats and a lot of different things. I think if anybody was going to say that I'm an expert, it might be on recruiting people from Slack and using that. I think Angela Bortuzzi over at Recruiting Social, I think her and I, we talk about that pretty heavily, right? Let's go look at the numbers, Jackie. Like you and I talked about this. I shared this that article that I got to finish on Amazon sourcing. Right? Is that the average? I got it. Like it's for real. All right. So yes. All right. So at the beginning of that article, I went through and I picked on companies like Indeed, and I showed how much time somebody spends on Indeed daily looking at the average user. And I showed in that article that it was less than 7 minutes, which is the same amount of time that somebody spends on LinkedIn. I also showed that people spend less than 1 minute a day in their Gmail, unless that's changed. And all that information is from ComScore and from Alexa. If anybody's out there is from ComScore that may or may not be listening, that should be listening, it's your data, not mine. Okay? So that was a shout out to Pete. I'm not watching. Hey, Pete. What I would say is the reality of it is that we need to, it's always going to change. Again, I don't think job postings are the same. We can prove day in and day out that people don't read the job postings because they think they're qualified. Or alternatively, if we're going to do job postings, they need to be some kind of smart or artificial intelligence, enhanced with artificial intelligence, like the Google Jobs API, right? That's not for posting jobs. That's for matching people based upon their qualifications, their past work, their future work, the work of other individuals who have done that work, right?
Wait, question. I'm going to nail you on that one because I think it's bullshit because it's linking people, what they put on a piece of paper, the skills. That's what I mean by self-disclosure. Do you think artificial intelligence is going to work if it's based on me putting out that I'm a freaking, I can write, and most recruiters can, I can put out there that I'm the best biochemist in the world, and it's going to put me up for that job, then you don't want a resume, right? I send you my video interview. Are you going to hire me? What? I've got a great personality. I could make you think.
So you're talking to the guy who used to recruit pharmaceutical salespeople, and by his own admission, and probably why he doesn't do it anymore, is there was a lot of cosmetic recruiting. And I think video recruiting is going to lead to more cosmetic recruiting. And I think we have a diversity problem in the entire country, not just in the tech industry, that we look for pretty people first as opposed to people who can do the work, okay? And I don't think that video recruiting solves that problem. I think it exacerbates it because it creates a distraction. I know that Sherm and all these other people have come out and endorsed it. That's not the question you asked. You asked me, you said, Brian, can I fool the algorithm? And I don't think that you can fool the algorithm no matter how well you can write, Jackie, because it's taking, that algorithm is taking your resume and your bio and your schools and all of that information, and it's comparing it against other abstract data from other people's resumes and from other third-party resources, right? I mean, fine, you write a resume that says you're a biochemist. I think that the best way that you're going to fool the algorithm is if you take somebody else's resume, you copy it, and put the same schools and the same background on it. Because I think that those algorithms, one of the features that was discussed is that it weighs the top 25 CS schools differently, right? I mean, you know, given the opportunity, would you work with somebody who went to Stanford versus somebody who went to, you know, Southern Poly, the Polytechnic Institute of Alabama, otherwise known as Auburn University? You know, I'm going to work with the Stanford, with the Stanford University guy.
Right. That's the pretty person. It's another version of the pretty person, right?
Oh, you called Matt pretty? Okay, that's cool.
Beautiful.
Sexy man. I love it when he smokes. Here, I'm gonna do my best, Matt Charney.
You get no. Oh Lord, I have to. That was good. Thank you.
I'm not wearing a hat today. Madeline took my hat.
Well, listen, I mean, we've got about 6 more minutes. I want to make sure if anybody has questions that they put those things up, you know, let me know, and we'll try to get some of those things answered. But I really am glad that we were able to, you know, touch on some of those key points. I think we looked at a lot of different things in the last 30 minutes. I'm still interested to see how artificial intelligence is going to change recruiting, and I'm wondering, like, what have you seen? Have you seen any algorithm that works?
So here's the point. Here's the part that I think it's going to play is that we now have CHROs that are really getting budget, and it's more than just a title. It's a title with responsibilities in an organization. I think that software as a service companies, the same way they went after the CMO in the past 10 years with your oh man, what did I think of? I forgot, like Pardot and Salesforce and those integrations like a Marketo or an Eloqua. I think that we're going to start seeing that the CHRO is going to have that budget power to make a decision about what applicant tracking system to go with, what layer of artificial intelligence to put onto it. I mean, clearly they haven't had it, or all of these ERP systems wouldn't be so disjointed and need, I mean, like, look, I was having a conversation with somebody last night about how disjoined it is for them to, he wishes they were on iCIMS, because iCIMS is easier to do the integration with their payroll provider and their onboarding than with Taleo, right? Those decisions about recruiting and recruiting artificial intelligence software, they're going to roll right up to that CHRO, and they're going to be compelled to make recruiting a revenue generator, not a cost engine.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's where it's going to come in. That's where it's going to come to, is those decision makers.
Now, we have another question from Nidhi Jain, and I know I'm tearing that name up really bad. But you had talked about Evernote and using it for automation. Can you explain a little bit more about how you use Evernote to help you with recruiting?
Okay, so how do I use Evernote to help me recruit? I make sure that every resume that I receive, any resume that I pull down, any LinkedIn page that I visit, that I save to Evernote. I use the paid version of Evernote. I take that $59 from LinkedIn and I give it to Evernote. It allows me to store up to an additional 10 gigs every month. So what I do with Evernote is if I'm looking for a particular person, I go into Evernote and I type in, here, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna look at that real quick. So I do that. I also have it conjoined with, or I have it provisioned with if this then that, so that when I email certain people that I have rules set up that it goes ahead and it indexes that information. One of the other pieces, and I'm going to give out a shout out to Perry Blake Gorman. Perry, I love you. I love Archively. I wish you'd bring it back. That's my Obama impersonation. One of the great things to me about Archively was that Archively would help an executive recruiter do a fair amount of research. I actually posted today, because somebody asked me, like, why do you love Evernote so much? I posted that you can hook Evernote up to something called Context. So if I put that LinkedIn profile into Evernote, and I do it with Web Clipper. Web Clipper is one of their add-ins. It's a free extension. It will show me where that person has been mentioned in TechCrunch. It will show me where that person has been mentioned in the Wall Street Journal. It'll find them on Dribbble. It'll find them on a myriad of about 32 different networks.
What did you say that was? What'd you say?
I'm sorry?
What was that called? So
it's in Evernote. There's an option that's called Context. If you'll go to my my feed, if you go to my Twitter feed, the Brian Fink, I posted a picture of what it looked like today. Also, I was talking about of using the search field. So here I am on my phone, and I'm just going to type in something like Java, right? Pretty basic term. But I also save my search strings in here, and once you install Web Clipper, you can use the Google bar to actually index as well. So real quick, it's pulled up everything for Java, wherever Java appears on the, oh man, come on, get with it, back up. Wherever Java appears, it's got some resumes down here at the bottom. It's got correspondence. It's got information about, it's got, look, like right there, the word Java is highlighted. It's got all the information or notes that I took about this candidate. It's right there at my fingertips. There is not an applicant tracking system today that does what Evernote does. You can plug it into Salesforce and use it in tandem with that, but there's not. Alternatively, if you have a bunch of resumes sitting in your Dropbox, how are you going to index those? So I have a folder that connects to my Dropbox that every time I put a resume in there, right, if I have one of my if then this that scripts working to drag down resumes, it'll go ahead and port it into Evernote and go ahead and tag it for me. Again, yeah. Evernote, there's a free version, and everything I mentioned is with the free version, except you have a limitation as to how much data you can store each month. With the paid subscription, you can for $59 a month, $60 a month. I mean, $60 a year. You can have 10 gigs of data a month. It doesn't roll over. It's not like AT&T. I'm very sorry about that.
Well, you brought up a good point, and just lastly, because we're almost out of time, but Tom Bull, thanks for being here, had said, like, Evernote over Dropbox, or is it really more Evernote in conjunction with Dropbox?
I use it in conjunction because sometimes I get lazy. As Animal likes to ask me, he goes, Brian, how do you get all this shit done in one day? Is that if I'm talking to somebody and I pull their resume or their LinkedIn page, great, I can make notes on it, I can draw on it and what have you. Tom, it's a really good question, but if I'm asleep at night and I've got resumes that are coming in or being sucked down by Google, by some automation I've done in Google, I'm not reading those while I'm asleep. I sleep when I'm asleep.
So, I'm going to have to get you to write about this, right?
Matt, this is actually how Charney and I started talking. Is I was like, dude, what do I got to do to get on your radar? And I was like, I'll write you an article about Evernote. That was like 2 years ago. You know what? Shit, Jackie, I'll do it here. Let me find this. I mean, like this is my first conversation with Matt Charney talking seriously. This is from 5/14. This is like, can I get on your radar, Matt? And this is me and him talking about like me writing this article for Evernote because nobody uses it.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad that. All right.
No, I did. Like I reached out to him on 10/15 saying, are you using this context thing? And he's like, dude, write me an article.
Well, hopefully it's been because you've been too busy making placements. We'll just say that. You've been too busy filling jobs.
Yeah. Hey, Jackie, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
When is the next HRTX event? Because if you are watching and you have not been to an HRTX event, you are cheating yourself out of sitting down with people that know their shit. And when I say sitting down with people who know their shit, like, look, Jackie, I love Jess Roberts. Jess Roberts is my brother from another mother. I would not have met Jess Roberts, who is a senior UI UX recruiter at Blizzard Entertainment. He'll be on Tuesday. Jess Roberts lives down the road from me, man. And like, we've never gotten in the same room together, but she brings accessibility. And also she uses my favorite 4-letter word, free, to do it. And that's the last thing I'm going to say is, about Steve Levy. Steve really taught me that you have to give freely of yourself to other people. Recruiting, it's about what you put in. So to those people who are like, hey man, I only got 2 minutes on the phone, either you want this job or not, you're doing a disservice to yourself because that candidate might become your best client down the road later. I love you, Stu. I love you, Stu, and I love you, Josh, because you're one of my first placements, and we've been together for like 9 years. Thanks, guys.
Well, I appreciate you, Brian. We've run out of time, but we kind of went over. But I appreciate you guys, and I love talking to you and everybody because they're witnesses.
Oh, wait. Hey, can I give a shout out for Allison McKay to get to feeling better? She just had surgery on her leg.
Yes. Yeah, she got surgery, and she
wrote an awesome article before she went in, man. I don't think the Vicodin convinced her to be that honest and to say that stuff, but man, that is the best article on the bullshit myth of diversity recruiting. It was great. It was fantastic.
See?
I loved it. I'm done. I'm shutting up.
All right, well, Vanessa,
bye, guys.
Being here, and she's waiting for your art. Oh, Lord. Y'all see that?
I'm back.
Everybody's waiting for your article, and I appreciate you. Again, I'm Jackie Clayton, editor of Recruiting Tools. I'll see you online, right?
Jackie, send her articles that are not bullshit.
I appreciate it. Bye, guys.